Okay, so the PlayStation 5 was just announced, and I'm sort of torn on how to feel about it, whether or not it's a big upgrade. For anybody coming from the PlayStation 5, I'm actually not sure if it's worth the upgrade, but there is some things to go over. Mark Cerny himself spoke about the PlayStation 5 and everything about it, but we've already sort of had that for about 4 years now, so we know all about the PlayStation 5, but that was primarily there to give context as to the changes on the PlayStation 5 Pro. With that, are these changes really worth it? That's going to be sort of up to you, and if you already have a PlayStation 5, I would say if you have a PS4 Pro already, or even just normal PlayStation 4, this is definitely a great upgrade. With that, the PlayStation 5 is going to be focusing on 3 specific big things, as Mark Cerny called it. The 3 big things when it comes down to the PS5 Pro is going to be the actual GPU power itself, AI upscaling, as well as the ray tracing performance. Now for me, the reason I'm actually pretty excited for this upgrade is because I'm one of those 3 out of 4 people that Mark Cerny mentioned chooses performance mode all the time instead of fidelity, mainly because I really just don't like playing at 30 FPS. As a PC nerd, I'm usually one to be playing upwards of 120 FPS, so getting any sort of increase in power for me is actually a huge plus. With that, the PS5 Pro will be giving us higher FPS with Fidelity Mode, which is actually a pretty huge plus for a lot of people. Now, whether or not that's going to be beneficial to you, that sort of depends on whether or not you're actually playing in 4K or what sort of display you're using. If you are using, say, 1080p or even 1440p potentially, this might not be that big of a deal. So you're going to want to consider that when it comes down to the massive $700 US price tag on the PS5 Pro. If you're not already playing on a 4K display, that's sort of one of the things you're going to want to consider if going to the PS5 Pro, because not only do you have to invest in the $700 system itself, but you're going to want to pick up a 4K screen at least 60 FPS. When it comes down to the actual power increase of the PS5 Pro, the GPU itself is probably going to be the biggest factor, which is a 45% increase in actual power. And Mark Cerny did say it is a larger GPU, so I'm imagining that's why the PlayStation 5 sort of stretched a little bit taller with the 3 stripes instead of 1. And I can imagine the GPU is probably going to be the primary reason the PS5 Pro mainly exists. With that though, there is an improvement in ray tracing. He did mention up to 2 to 3 times improvements in terms of performance on ray tracing. I'm not sure where he gets those numbers or how that's even particularly measured when it comes to ray tracing performance, but it is definitely a welcomed plus, and I'm looking forward to testing that out in different games. Again, for myself, as somebody who plays always in performance mode on just about any game that I have on my PS5, being able to play at a higher FPS in fidelity mode is definitely a massive improvement. Now, what PlayStation calls the PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution, which is pretty much their version of AI upscaling. I'm pretty sure they did upscaling before when it comes down to any of the 4K titles, but this is still an improvement and I'm happy to see it. Whether or not that's a big deal, I think that's going to depend on you and whether or not you already have a PS5. But they did talk about some titles that are going to be seeing huge improvements. Like for right now, I'm playing Last of Us Part 2 on my PlayStation 5 for the first time. Incredible title, and as much as I'd love to finish it before the PS5 Pro launches, I might actually stop playing it just to sort of finish it on the PS5 Pro when it comes out. Apart from that, you are going to see some specific Sony titles see improvements, such as Spider-Man 2, Rift Apart, and I even saw some Ghost of Tsushima in there, which I still haven't finished. So those are the sort of games I might be putting on pause just to finish them on the PS5 Pro. So if you are looking forward to seeing some PS5 Pro content, be sure to subscribe and like for that. That will be coming most definitely. Now, the biggest elephant in the room is probably going to be that $700 price tag, which is pretty hefty if you ask me. I'm pretty sure the PlayStation 5 launched at what, 450 or 499 bucks, and that price, the $700, is without a disc drive. So if you are going to be getting that a little bit separately, that's going to bump up the cost even further. For reference, up here in Canada, which is Maple World, that's going to be close to $1,000 for a console, which is starting to rival the price tag of a mid-range or lower-end PC. And PCs can have a little bit more functionality compared to a console, so that's starting to push over the line. Whether or not that's worth it, it's going to be up to you. For myself, I absolutely just prefer the console experience through and through. So for me, I will be picking it up and I will be doing a lot of content on it, so be sure to check it out. But let me know what you guys think. Is the PlayStation 5 worth it at that $700 price tag? If you already have a PS5, are you going to be upgrading to the PS5 Pro? Let me know down below in the comments. Thanks for watching. Till next time.